Welcome, gamers, weebs, and nerds alike. Turn-based games are absolutely providing some of the best single-player experiences we've had with heavy hitters like Baldur's Gate, Metaphor ReFantazio, and now Clair Obscura Expedition 33. They provided us with amazing storytelling, phenomenal soundtracks, and really fun and exciting combat. So today, we're going over 10 of the best turn-based RPGs of all time. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more geek content. Without further ado, let's get into the list. First on this list, we have Baldur's Gate 3. Few can do better than the first game to win all major Game of the Year awards. We've spoken about this game in great length on this channel, and rightfully so. I wasn't expecting much when I initially saw it and started playing, but from character creation screen to the very end of my very first run to even my 10th run, this game is something special. It really captures the D&D feel and allows you to go on a ridiculous adventure and practically do what you want. There is so much replayability, and Larian just keeps giving with patch after patch and update after update, especially with the last update adding 12 new subclasses, each with their own spells, cantrips, abilities. It just adds so much more to this game. When this game launched, I think it took a lot of people by surprise because it was a fully finished game for $60. That's it. No hidden gotchas, no surprise paywalls or bugs. A fully realized game at launch, which is really impressive nowadays, which is kind of sad, especially now that games are getting up to $80. It did have a few issues, but they were few and far between and have been fixed by this point. Borislav did an amazing job on the music, every character was well written and interesting, and the main cast was some of the best I've seen in gaming. Larian captured lightning in a bottle with this game and showed just everyone that with enough care, passion, hard work, and respect for the community, you can make one of the best turn-based games of all time. Next up, we have Persona 5 Royal. If you've been on this channel a while, you know I kinda sorta like Persona, especially Persona 5 Royal. From the outstanding music with its J-pop jazz rock that both gets you hype and is also just nice to relax and vibe to the great writing and pacing which is touched up in Royal, there are so many amazing things about this game. It follows the MC who is wrongfully convicted of a crime because he was just trying to save a girl from being harassed, and it just so happens to be a very prominent politician that he pushed. Then goes on through a retelling of events in an interrogation room as he gains friends and allies as they step up to injustice and hold people accountable for their actions that normally wouldn't. Every single one of the companions and social links is well voice acted, written, designed, and will definitely make you fall for them. The combat is exciting and allows for experimentation as you figure out the best way to keep stacking weakness combos, doing team up attacks, and finishing with ultimates. The bosses are all entertaining and for the most part have good mechanics that have you actually having to plan around them a little bit. Obviously, I have some bias here, but if you haven't played it and are looking for a new turn-based game to play, pick this one up, you will not be disappointed. Next up, we have Octopath Traveler 2. Now almost a complete 180, we have this game, which is an absolute gorgeous 2D HD art style and improved in a lot of ways over the first game. The biggest is actually having the characters interact with each other, which made it feel a lot less weird and straight up awkward with the other characters being together. The addition of the day and night cycle as well as traveling by boat added a whole new layer of exploration to this game. A lot more of the characters feel more fleshed out and have more interesting stories, and my favorite being Oswald, the scholar, because I love a good old story of revenge and mystery. The gameplay is fun, with turn-based combat needing to strategize at higher levels to target weaknesses. I'm surprised a bit that fewer people talk about this game, but if you want a solid turn-based JRPG that is like a swan song to older titles, definitely pick this one up. Next up, we have Metaphor ReFantazio. I always love having a chance to talk about this absolute home run from Atlas and Studio Zero. This is hands down one of the best RPGs I've played, and I would put it up there as competing with Persona 5, Baldur's, and even KOTOR. The music is entertaining, beautiful, somber, inspiring, and just downright freaking awesome. I mean, how do you not get pumped up by that battle theme? The art style is great and definitely exudes that unique flair and style that Atlas is known for. The character and monster designs are great, and the decision to go with their own fantasy world rather than a typical one, I think really pays off. And of course, the story is both well written and voice acted with a really great and compelling villain who garners a little bit of the, I mean, he's not wrong, in Luis Guillaburn. Where it lacks in some areas, it makes up for it in the challenging yet fair combat that actually makes you plan and think about strategies using the very cool archetype system, which lets you try out different classes on every character and carry abilities to each new one to really mix and match your optimized playstyle. All around, with the great gameplay, the amazing story, the great art style, and banging music, this was definitely my game of the year for 2024 and a must play for all RPG fans, especially those who like turn-based. Next up, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. After a long time and a bit of adjusting to realistic looking turn-based, I finally played this game on Game Pass and I could not have been more pleasantly surprised. The combat is surprisingly smooth and has a crap ton of variety in classes, with specific ones as well as very general ones for every character. There is a weakness system, and if you manage to knock an opponent down, you can get a free extra shot at them for some extra damage. And there is a defense parry system where you can reduce damage by timing the attack correctly. Outside of the fun involved combat, it's your pretty typical Yakuza game with a wacky over-the-top story, fun interesting characters with both brand new and returning, and of course the mini games. From picking up trash to karaoke to running a business empire and having to appeal to the shareholders, there's almost too many in-depth activities to the point you spend more time playing those than the story sometimes. Once you get past the initial shock of a turn-based Yakuza game, you're in for a real treat with plenty of laughs, tears, and broken controllers after that damn claw machine wouldn't work. Next up, we have Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, is this just kind of Monster Hunter Pokemon? Yeah, but nonetheless, it's pretty darn fun, and who doesn't love catching monsters? This puts a nice little spin on the typical Monster Hunter formula with a cute, fun style to boot. The story is relatively simple, as it is with most Monster Hunter games, but that's not why you play these. You play for the monsters, and boy are there a lot of them, with 128 total, 81 of which you can ride around. The combat plays in a rock, paper, scissors format, with every monster having its own skills to use to get the upper hand. The process of getting new monsters is pretty neat too, with you having to go and find them, hatch eggs from monster dens. All around, this is a really laid back and chill game, so if you don't want something with as deep of a story or complex of combat as the previous titles, then this is definitely right up your alley. Next up, we have Pokemon Diamond/Brilliant Diamond. Of course, you can't have a turn-based game list and not mention one of the absolute giants, and so I'm going with my personal favorite, and that being this one. This is arguably the best starter trio with Piplup, Turtwig, and Chimchar, as well as some cool-ass legendaries in Dialga and Palkia. While they don't have the aura or presence of Groudon and Kyogre, they are still both really cool. The gyms, while not easy, were definitely challenging enough to be engaging, and the final gauntlet you have to go through can definitely be tough, especially once you get to Cynthia. And if you're smart like me, you go in with an almost full steel team and try to muscle your way through before you punch a hole in your desk. All around, I really enjoy this game and have the fondest memories outside of Gen 1, so with that, if you want a tougher, fun Pokemon game with great starters, definitely play this one. Now we have South Park and the Stick of Truth. How this managed to be as good as it is downright surprising. I don't think anyone expected a turn-based South Park game to actually be really playable, let alone fun, and yet 11 years later, it's considered an absolute gem and must-play for RPG fans. This basically follows a new kid who has moved to South Park in order to escape his past and has arrived to the snowy Colorado town during a town-wide fantasy battle. It has your funny South Park comedy, great combat that keeps you engaged without being too difficult, and a decent enough story. To really put the cherry on top, it's developed by Obsidian, who kinda know their way around RPGs. All around, this is a fantastic time, and it's great to create your own character in the South Park universe and interact with all of the titular characters. So if you haven't played this already, even if you aren't a huge South Park fan, pick it up, as it's a very solid turn-based RPG. Starting to wrap out this list, we have Divinity Original Sin 2. We wouldn't have BG3 if it weren't for this masterpiece from Larian Studios. This was the 5th game in the Divinity franchise, and it follows a party of god-woken characters who wield powerful magic. It starts off and plays very much like BG3, just in Larian's own original IP. You create your own character from a variety of different races and classes, or choose one of the origin characters, then play through the game with a rich backstory that interweaves with others and the main narrative. The combat is done in an isometric view with a whole slew of different moves, attacks, spells, etc. to use on your enemies and environments to come out on top of each encounter. The writing is insane, and being able to interact with each NPC is so immersive, and every action you take can have huge implications on the world and overarching story. If you've played and loved BG3 like so many have, and you want another game to fill that itch, Divinity 2 is the perfect game for you. And to wrap out this list, we have Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Now, for the main reason for this video, we have probably not one of the best RPGs and turn-based games recently, but one of the best we've seen ever. This pushes the turn-based action in a very new and exciting direction with its timing and parry elements. Each character has their own skills and abilities, making them all feel very unique and fun. And if your main party dies, your backup crew can go in to finish the job, so all characters are vital to keep upgrading and managing their loadouts. The voice acting is stellar. The music, and this will be an understatement, it is fantastic and jaw-dropping. One of the best OSTs we've had in a while. And the art style is just downright gorgeous to look at. The characters, the enemies, the action spells, the environments, this just gushes style. And the fact this is the studio's first game ever is mind-boggling. The dark, surreal story where the cast attempts to stop the Paintress's circle of death as everyone over the age she writes dies, and the first time we see this, it hits like a truck, is downright just gripping. This has the potential to be up there for Game of the Year, especially with GTA delayed again. It's only $50, and it's on Game Pass, so I don't know what you're doing, but definitely go play this game if you haven't already. That wraps up our list for the best turn-based RPGs out there. We did have to leave off some outstanding and criminally underrated ones, so let us know what your favorites are in the comments below. Check us out on Twitch and TikTok for more geeky goodness. Leave a like and share if you enjoyed the video. Until the next video, keep on geeking on.